Hey guys, John Hayes at Golden Oak Carpentry here, just filling you in on the details of this remodel. So I have just replaced the old cabinets with the new cabinets. I finished putting on the doors, and so I'd like to go ahead and talk about it. All right, so here are the cabinets, the new cabinets as they stand. Like I said, I used a little bit of a darker stain on this, and I think that it goes pretty well with the actual wallpaper that is in the house. Nice light and dark symphony going on there. So these doors, these are solid oak doors, a flat panel. And then you can see right here that the hinges are a concealed soft close style hinges. So they close on their own, nice and gently, no more slamming. And then over here, let me go ahead and point out the this would be your shelf standards. So you see this metal clip here? So this metal clip is holding up this shelf. So stainless steel shelf standard. Anywhere that there is a hole, that's where you can put a shelf standard. So it's completely customizable every single inch or so. And then you've got a nice 3/4 inch plywood shelf here. So with these standards and this shelf will never sag. And the reason why is because there are actually very specific formulas that you can use to figure out how much sag you are expected to have in the lifetime of a shelf. And you can look it up on a site that I like to use called the Sagulator, giving you a free shout out there. Basically it's awesome. It will tell you, basically it asks you what species of wood, if you're using plywood, if you're using MDF, what type of shelving what type of shelving mechanisms you're going to use, everything. And then it formulates that. It gives you the tolerance. It gives you what sag you are expected to have per weight of each shelf, and it goes from there. So if you ever wonder why your shelves are sagging and they look like crap, it's because the formula was not followed properly, and you can verify that using the Sagulator. So let's go ahead and talk about these older cabinets right here. So as you can see, this steel, not stainless steel obviously because it was painted, this steel drawer slide is already on its last leg. You can't close it without having it bump itself back up. And you'll also notice that it's starting to torque, as well as most of the other doors and cabinets. So the reason why that is happening is because obviously whenever everything was put together, it was all nice and square and everything else like that. So as you can see there isn't really anything obstructing it. So even though it doesn't look like it, something is causing that drawer slide to twist. So most likely the cabinet itself is starting to twist, which is why these doors don't line up the way that they should, which is why this is twisting a little bit, which is why everything looks like it's ready to fall apart. Again, it was cheaper wood, cheaper materials, all MDF stuff, except for the face frame, obviously, and that's why it needs to be replaced. So one other thing to note out is that I don't do this type of door. This was a super popular thing way back in the day. Basically what you would do is you would just take a piano hinge, which is this thing right here, and then you just join two doors together just by putting screws in. And it's a great idea in theory, but obviously what happens is that it will so basic seesaw or fulcrum or whatever you want to call it. So whenever the door is all the way out, there's more weight being applied on this side than where the hinges are. So basically, imagine this is like the center of gravity, and all the weight is being applied towards this, and the fulcrum just isn't strong enough. And you'll see that these hinges are starting to fall away. I don't know if you could see that super well, but there is a gap there, and you can kind of see it a little bit on the top here. And you can also see that the door has broken. So yeah, and obviously it doesn't line up straight anymore. Also, these knobs, so obviously these were plated and they're not very good, so they're starting to wear down. This is like a 25 or a 50-cent knob. So whenever you work with Golden Oak Carpentry, you get a $3 allowance for every single knob. And obviously we use all stainless steel hardware for the hinges and the drawer slides, so you don't even have to worry about, virtually maintenance free on that. Alright, so before I get into this, I'm going to talk about this. One other little feature that most people do and we do not. So this right here, this is a 1/2 inch number 6 wood screw. Okay, this right here is a 3/4 inch number 6 wood screw. There are 3/4 inch wood screws here as well as here, whereas most manufacturers, they will use 1/2 inch wood screws, which basically just tacks it all into place. And if there's ever a problem, these guys do not hold. This will hold if there is ever a problem, because like I said, you're just kind of putting something up there just to put it up there with this. This is reinforcing it. So as I was saying, if I was using these, and if this door was a little bit thicker, this screw would go all the way through. But this is barely just enough in order to make it worth its while. So a little bit of something to think about as well, because whenever this fails, and this fails a lot, and it's mostly for things like trash cabinets and doors, this will be its downfall. So let's go ahead and talk about the price. Alright, so this is kind of everything that's all been building up to. And I really want to reiterate the price, because most people are like, oh, well, that's too expensive. And if you think about it, it really truly isn't. And I will do another video about what the real cost is versus just paying for something today. If you pay for something today, the real cost of buying something on a budget is going to hurt you further on down the line. So please watch out for that video. All right. So if I just replaced these top cabinets, it would be $4,375. If I replaced everything for this remodel, being all the cabinets that you see here, uninstalling, reinstalling the dishwasher, uninstalling, reinstalling the sink, installing new laminate countertop, your total would be $8,775. A competitor custom cabinet maker. So there's 22.5 linear feet of cabinets to be replaced here. So Home Advisor and HGTV says that cabinets start on the low end from a custom cabinet maker at $500. That is with none of these upgrades that I've talked about. So at 22.5 linear feet, so it's $11,225, and so some other people are going to charge you to tear out the old cabinets at $25 per linear foot, which is an extra $62, as well as disposal fees, which is a one-time of around $150 ballpark. And I've gotten all this from other people that I have talked to and set up business relationships with in the past. So that total would be $12,862. So if you went with me, because I only try to take on about 4 or 5 clients a year, you would save yourself $4,000 today by deciding to work with me. So this is a little bit more about the custom cabinet maker, and I'm going to talk about what I really want to talk about with price on the box stores in the next video, because I know this video is running long. It's 12 minutes, and there's a lot of stuff to really cover and delve into, and I will get on to that on the next video. So thank you very much for watching. John Hayes at Golden Oak Carpentry.